Okay, I think we have our IT issues pretty resolved, and we do have quorum, so we are going to proceed with today's meeting. Welcome, everyone. We will begin the Oklahoma City Arts Commission's September 19th regularly scheduled meeting. Before the commission votes on each item, I will ask staff to provide details of each case. I will ask if the applicant has anything to add, and I will ask if any members of the public wish to speak. If you wish to address the Arts Commission, you will be recognized. You will go to the center podium one at a time and state your name, address for the record, and begin your comments. Please limit those comments to no more than 3 minutes. Our first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the meeting minutes from July 18th, 2022. I hope everyone has read through the minutes, and if there are no corrections, I will entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Those need to go into FriendGov.
I keep forgetting about having to do this stuff on here.
So we have a motion from Commissioner Hill and a second from Commissioner Salyer. Any further discussion? We're going to wait 1 second for votes. Votes should be up. Please vote on your screen. Commissioner Seward, will you please voice vote?
Yes, I approve.
Thank you. This motion passes. Thank you. Okay. I think, what?
They showed Meg as not having voted.
Oh. For the record.
I voted yes.
Thank you.
I seconded the motion.
Okay.
I voted yes.
That suffices for me. I hope that works for the record. Okay, moving on to the agenda. Item number 3, items for discussion action. Item 3A, a resolution of the Oklahoma City Arts Commission acknowledging Robbie L. Kinsel for her unparalleled contributions to the arts in Oklahoma City. This represents all wards. I'm going to ask Randy to present this item, and I have asked Commissioner Chambers to read this item.
Okay, it's always something, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So first, I'm Randy Marks, Public Art Project Manager in the Planning Department. So we have that formality out of the way. Robbie's memorial was Friday, and many of you were able to attend, and a couple of you spoke at the memorial. So this commission has already taken the action of voting to honor Robbie by dedicating Taking Flight, Light as a Feather, to her. And that will take place, that actual dedication will take place in November or December when Light as a Feather is installed in Scissortail Park. On October 11th, when the mayor reads the Proclamation for Arts and Humanities Month at City Council, and more about this a little bit later on, the day will be dedicated in honor of Robbie also, or actually the entire month. It was felt that a specific resolution recognizing Robbie for her unique life and accomplishments is appropriate, and so this resolution comes to you today.
Commissioner Chambers, thank you.
Resolution of the Oklahoma City Arts Commission acknowledging Robbie L. Kenzel for her unparalleled contributions to the arts in Oklahoma City. Whereas Robbie L. Kenzel tirelessly served the citizens of the city of Oklahoma City in many capacities in a 20-year career. And whereas Robbie approached every person, project, and challenge with an open mind and with a sincere desire to achieve the best outcome for all. And whereas early in her career, Robbie worked at the Arts Council of Oklahoma City, including serving as festival director, bringing a fresh vision, vitality, and innovation to her job. And whereas Robbie was instrumental in establishing Oklahoma City's Office of Arts and Cultural Affairs in 2012 and became the first arts liaison for the city. And whereas Robbie, as arts liaison, initiated the first comprehensive public art master plan and facilitated Oklahoma City's community-wide cultural planning. And whereas Robbie led the development of a comprehensive resource database of pre-qualified local artists available to work on public art projects, and mentored and developed individual artists in gaining skill to compete locally and nationally in public art projects. And whereas Robbie guided and supported a myriad of community groups and businesses in implementing successful public art projects. And whereas Robbie worked individually with countless artists, providing mentorship, guiding them through technical processes, encouraging them to enlarge their vision, and cheering on their successes. And whereas in her many placemaking and revitalization roles, Robbie facilitated the installation of over 18 million in public art projects. And whereas, because of Robbie and her work, the citizens of Oklahoma City have an increasing appreciation for and interaction with public art as Oklahoma City continues to evolve as a nationally recognized, culturally enriched and enriching community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Oklahoma City Arts Commission hereby commemorates Robbie L. Kenzel for an outstanding life and career dedicated to the betterment of the community through planning and the arts.
Thank you for reading that. I also would like to call on Commissioner Williams. Given that this is Arts Commission, it seems fitting to include some art as a part of this resolution. Can you read the piece that you wrote about Robbie?
All right, yeah, I can. The reason I wrote it is because I planned on just kind of at the memorial just talking from my heart. And I thought about it, I was like, man, that's Robbie. You got to have some kind of art for her, you know. And so I wanted to just, you know, dedicate a piece of art to her. So I wrote something real short. I didn't have a title, but then I learned her middle name and I liked it, so I just call it Levon. So it goes like this. A picture can express 1,000 words to describe all the beauty of life you give, and the true essence of the art was in the work you did. The true blessings is in the heart and in the life you lived. You never told me no, and you always found a way. Now the memories of those times hold me down today. Robbie was devoted. It's an honor to be part of it. So I keep doing art, live what she taught, and never squander it. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Loftus.
You mentioned the term 18 million. Was that supposed to be dollars or 18 million projects? Did you?
$18 million in public art projects.
Great. Thank you.
I would open the floor for a motion.
Madam Chair, just before we do that, first of all, we know that the whereases could have gone on for another hour or so, and we wouldn't have exhausted everything. We could have mentioned many projects that Robbie found a way to make them happen. Brothers in Arms that she was very proud of. The Coinhurst painting installation at the convention center, which was far more complicated than you can imagine, even though that was reported to you. It had a lot of moving parts to make that happen. That was a favorite of hers. Virtual Sky, Light as a Feather coming up. It wasn't just that she did them, she found a way to make them happen when it looked like they couldn't. Anyway, that was my comment. But we also have a recommendation from staff that the motion specifically state that although the chair signs the resolution, her signature, the chairwoman's signature, also stands for each commissioner's signature individually. Although you won't be signing it individually, Allison is also signing for each of you individually by doing her signature. So if you can just embody that word in the motion to accept.
That's incredibly kind, Randy. Thank you. It means a lot, I know, to me and I think for all of us.
So
I'm not seeing my motions pop up. Oh, thank you. We have a motion from Commissioner Kovash and a second from Commissioner Williams. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote on your screen. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that that passes. Thank you for your work on that resolution, Randy. I know that was appreciated by all of the commissioners.
No, and I think this showed that I didn't vote again, but I've now voted twice.
And I vote yay.
Yay.
Yeah, I vote yay.
Item 3B.
also before, go ahead,
Okay.
excuse me.
Another opportunity to recognize a commissioner. This is a resolution of the Oklahoma City Arts Commission acknowledging John Seward for his incomparable long-term service as a member of the Arts Commission. Randy, can you present this item?
Certainly. It's my pleasure. So John has been representing Allied Arts on the commission for 25 years. So the way the ordinance is written, many of the commissioners represent certain organizations, and John has been the Allied Arts representative. In actual fact, he's been representing Uncommon Good Sense, All Citizens, Fine Art, and many other constituencies with distinguishment. Is that the right word? Of these 25 years. And it is fitting that you, John's colleagues, should have the chance to formally recognize his extraordinary service.
Commissioner Cooper, can you read this resolution for us?
I'd be happy to. Resolution of the Oklahoma City Arts Commission acknowledging John Seward for his incomparable long-term service as a member of the Arts Commission. Whereas John Seward has admirably served the citizens of Oklahoma City as a commissioner of the Oklahoma City Arts Commission, representing Allied Arts Foundation, beginning in 1997 and continuing to September 19th, 2020. And whereas John Seward, with a unique background as a fine artist, businessman, arts administrator, and philanthropist, has served as a continuing source of advice concerning artistic, cultural, and aesthetic matters to ensure that Oklahoma City is an attractive and culturally enriched community. And whereas, as an arts commissioner, John Seward provided expert advice and assistance to the City Council concerning works of art to be placed on municipal property, and in connection with other artistic and cultural activities. His knowledge, skills, and experience were reflected in the quality of the recommendations and decisions of the Oklahoma City Arts Commission. And whereas John Seward personally and through his activities as Arts Commissioner promotes and encourages programs to further the growth of the artistic and cultural identity of the city. And whereas John Seward's engagement with his role and accomplishment of his responsibilities was achieved with a true distinction to the well-being of the arts and cultural community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Oklahoma City Arts Commission hereby commends John Seward for his outstanding years of service on the City of Oklahoma City Arts Commission.
Thank you.
Woo-hoo.
I think that deserves.
Passed yet.
That is true.
But we can
Will you
still clap.
abstain? Loftus will.
Yeah, yes, we're ready for a motion on this resolution.
And Madam Chair, the same that I said for the resolution for Robbie holds true for John too. You will be signing for everybody all at once.
I will try. It's
And
a clean signature.
do we get this to
Should
come
I
up?
recuse myself from this?
Oh, I think you should absolutely vote for
I
you.
mean,
Free of smiling.
John, does this mean you're retiring from this commission?
It is. This will be my last formal meeting as an arts commissioner.
So we have a motion from Commissioner Chambers and a second from Commissioner Salyer, and you can vote on your screen.
So if we abstain, he has to stay?
Maybe that's it, JB. Maybe we can all vote no and he'll have to stay.
You'd have to clear that, Mr.
I believe that motion passes. Thank you so much.
And now I can read the last sentence.
Yes.
Adopted by the Oklahoma City Arts Commission this 19th day of September 2020.
2022, Terry.
22.
Twice.
And before
I'm
we go
moving
on-
back in time.
Before we go on, I'd like to acknowledge that Mary Seward is with us here today. I'm sure this wasn't the first time she came, but we haven't seen her too much. Or maybe it is the first time you came.
I used to play in the bar, I was at the other
Okay.
Out at the garden center.
Moving on to item 3C, larger than life, an interior photographic prints by MJ Alexander for the Northwest Optimist Building at Hefner Park in Ward 2. Randy, can you present this item for us?
Works by multi-talented artist MJ Alexander have been approved by you in the past. The 3 community recreation centers projects are particularly relevant to this item today. While MJ was taking photos for use at Taylor Recreation Center, she did the actual photography at the Northwest Optimist Performing Arts Center. The reason was the performing arts program at Taylor was on hiatus due to COVID and other reasons. So she took a lot of photos at Northwest Optimist that were used at Taylor, and then there were a number of them left over. And knowing this, we saw the opportunity to get some fantastic artwork at a very low budget, which is what Hefner, which is where Northwest Optimist is located, at a lower cost. So we worked with procurement to do a sole source agreement, and so we were able to go to MJ with a smaller amount of money. We also got more money added from another project to make it really worthwhile. And the result is the series of photographs that will be installed at Northwest Optimist. You see on the map to the right, you can't see it very well, but in that little upside down raindrop, there's actually comedy and drama masked in there. So the performing arts program at Northwest Optimist is run by Toby Thompson, who is in the photo to the left. Now, that is not one of MJ's photos. That's just a picture of Toby, who initiated the program and has been running it for a couple of decades, where she's working with a couple of students. But these are examples of some of the photographs that will be used. And then also these. MJ is going to work directly, directly with Toby on the placement. She's going to do as many as she can. If you haven't been in out there, you need to go and see the space. It is completely crowded with all kinds of stuff, but they're going to find somehow, some way, places to put as large of photos as they can on display at Northwest Optimist. So that concludes the report.
Any questions for staff on this item? Hearing none, I would open the floor for a motion.
And again, the motion is to recommend to council. By the way, Mark Michaud, who's our head admin assistant in arts, is filling in for Robin today. None of this is Mark's fault. He inherited a difficult situation, and we're glad that he's here to help us out.
We have a motion from Commissioner Cooper and a second from Commissioner Chambers. Any further discussion? Hearing none, please vote on the screen.
Yay.
And Commissioner Seward votes
Yay, I do too.
and Commissioner Salyer.
Batting about 50.
This item passes. Thank you. Item,
I'm noticing also that Commissioner Loftus your vote is not showing up if you're voting. I just now saw that.
can you put your vote for the record verbally?
For the record, I voted for this.
Okay, thank you. So item 3D, Plaza Walls Curatorial Plan in Ward 6. Randy, can you present this item?
Thank you. You advance. You may remember that Chris Canale presented an interim report at the June 13 commission meeting about Plaza Walls, and it was so thorough, there's no need for another report right now. There's actually nothing else to report that he didn't cover at that time. That's going to change very quickly. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. But in the meantime, Chris and his team have updated the curatorial plan, and each of you have a copy of that in the mini packet that I sent to you. It is basically the same as it was before, a little bit of change in language and a little bit of updating of the number and the names of the curators. And staff recommends that Plaza Walls operate provisionally under this new curatorial plan through the end of February 2023, and that amendments to this plan, if necessary, be presented to the Arts Commission at the February 2023 meeting, that the plan with any amendments be adopted for a 2-year term to begin March 1st of 2023, and continuing through the last day of February 2025, 2 full years. That Plaza Walls presents an annual report every February, beginning at the February 2023 Arts Commission meeting, and that the plan be updated, amended as necessary, and reviewed for possible extension February of every other year beginning in 2023. That's a little bit labored, but this has not been spelled out before, and there have been a number of conflicting dates that made it difficult to know exactly how we should operate. So this is going to codify and make it very, very clear what is expected of Plaza Walls and what you can expect of Plaza Walls. So every February is when we will be dealing with their curatorial plan, sometimes simply in accepting the report, but other times in amending the plan as necessary, and hopefully will be, or your successors will be doing that 50 years from now also. Anyway.
Questions for staff on this item?
I'd like to make a comment on, I remember when this proposal was first presented to the Arts Commission, and it was, it was like, what are they doing? And it has turned out to be such an unbelievably successful project, and I think has really been instrumental in moving the mural art in Oklahoma City forward. It's all over the city. People love the murals, and again, Robbie was so instrumental in making sure that we went forward with this project. It has again, resounding success, and Chris Canale and the Oklahoma Mural Syndicate, Dylan Bradway, they were the two initial presenters, have just done an outstanding job in presenting this and cultivating it. Those who happened to go, and Robbie liked it so much, that's where the family decided to have the reception following her memorial service. And so those of you who were there got a chance to see what's going on right now. But it's amazing, and I just wanted to give it a big shout out because I think it's so highly of it.
Thank you. Okay, seeing. I'm opening the floor for a motion. Moved by Commissioner Kovash and seconded by Terry Cooper. Commissioner Cooper, you may now vote. Okay, a yes vote from Commissioner Salyer,
Yes.
a yes vote from Commissioner Seward,
My screen isn't coming up, but I'm voting yes.
a yes vote from Commissioner Cooper, and Commissioner Loftus. He has recorded his vote. Hers is not showing up. She is pressing it, but it's, or
I have nothing.
she doesn't get a vote. She's not voting.
I have no option.
Presentation.
I vote yes.
Technology is not being our friend today.
This motion, this recommendation passes. Thank you. Item 3E, discussion and possible action on creation of a task force to review use of 1% for art funds and make recommendations for additional uses. This is applicable to all wards. This is something that's been brought up in a previous Arts Commission meeting. Randy's going to present this item, but this kind of formalizes the process for us to fully utilize the 1% for art ordinance. Randy, can you present this?
The Arts Commission is charged by the ordinance with making regular assessments of the conditions and needs of the city concerning the arts. In discussions with commission members, members of Parks Department, Parks and Recreation Management, and other city personnel, it has been proposed that 1% funds be used to address these conditions and needs, specifically creation of a maintenance fund for the city's art collection and expanding the use of 1% funds to include all arts. 1% for art funds have been used exclusively for the acquisition and installation of 2- and 3-dimensional works of art since the enactment of the ordinance in 2009. Maintenance is an allowable use, but no funds have been used strictly for maintenance. And although the ordinance frequently mentions performances and refers to the arts without any specification, but the arts, not merely the visual arts, works of art such as music, dance, and film have not been funded. So staff recommendation is the creation of a task force composed of 3 to 5 members to review procedures and make recommendations for the use of 1% for art funds, and to make a report of those recommendations no later than the November 21st, 2022 Arts Commission meeting. And more specifically, staff recommends that the chair and vice chair be the 2 original members of the task force, and that they decide, without needing to come back to the commission, other commission members and other members that are outside of the commission, reaching whatever that optimal number is of people that can talk and that still talk thoroughly and decide and move forward to come back with a recommendation within 2 months. That is the staff recommendation.
Thank you. Questions for staff on this item?
Does it then go to council for approval?
There's nothing that would be needed. This would just provide guidelines for the options available under the 1% ordinance. So it's utilizing the ordinance as it is right now. We just have maybe just looking at it a little differently than what we have done in the past. And the timing of this is somewhat urgent because we have a lot of projects in the queue. And that means that we have the opportunity to do a wider variety of art purchases of different types of art for those items, and we want to make sure we understand what it is that we can do with that. And all of the guidance from the task force will have oversight from municipal counselor's office. So,
Excuse me, is it oh,
Commissioner
you've been
Cooper?
turning my microphone on and off.
Commissioner Cooper?
Is it proposed that all of the members of this task force be members of the Arts Commission, or are you wanting to bring in someone from, say, one of the other types of arts, performing arts, to provide, since mostly what we have done has been with in the area of visual arts, should we consider having someone who is from the performing arts field or another field of arts to input in this area?
So the recommendation is that the chair and the vice chair decide on which of the other commissioners to be invited to the task force, and then the commissioners together will decide on the other members who we propose will be outside of the commission. They may or may not be city employees, but we'll rely on the wisdom of those on the task force to make those recommendations, taking into account what you have just suggested, Commissioner.
And if I could, I thought I heard that there was a definition, or that the definition in the ordinance included maintenance. Is that correct, Rita?
It does say maintenance, that they can be, so, but that does not mean that there is a maintenance fund. And so this is a technicality. It would be helpful, do you mind if I give an explication here? So for example, we come to the end of a project, and oftentimes there's, on a tens of $1,000s project, there might be $500 left over or $1,500 left over. Not really enough to do a second project for that location. So what do we do with those leftover funds? Some of them could go into a maintenance fund. Some of them could be transferred to some other account. But what we would like to see is a maintenance fund set up under the administration of Arts and Cultural Affairs. Of course, it'll be handled by finance and budgeting, but it will be under our administration so that when we are notified of a need, we can utilize those funds to take care of that need. It'll be much simpler than the method that we have in place right now. Robbie was always very, very reticent to do anything strictly maintenance. Now, we did actual repair, but just maintenance, sometimes like the waxing of the Land Run Monument or something like that. Those funds have to come from somewhere. This will address that need.
Yes. Commissioner
You
Kovacs.
mentioned that the you mentioned that the maintenance was, I don't know, initially thought up by the planning department. Did I hear that right?
It came up in a discussion with, actually with Melinda McMillan Miller, the head of Parks Department, and Jane Abraham in the city manager's office. We were out looking at the land run one day and we started talking about it. I went back and looked at the ordinance again, and there it was.
Is there somebody that we could tap into in the planning department or the budget department that could help us decide what percentage or how much needs to go to maintenance versus how much goes to the other projects, that sort of thing?
You can certainly do that. Yes, you can count on city staff to provide information for the task force.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further questions? Hearing none, I would open the floor for a motion.
So move.
Motion from Commissioner Seward. Maybe.
Second.
And a second from Commissioner Salyer.
It's a lot easier to do it verbally these days.
I know. Also, a motion from Commissioner Kovacs and a second from Commissioner Cooper. Hearing any further discussion? None? You may vote on your screen. Thank you.
Some people may vote on their screen.
Given that you both made a motion, would you like to make a vote as well?
I verbally vote yes.
Yay.
Mr. Seward, do you vote yes?
Yes.
This motion passes. Thank you. Oh, I didn't vote? I voted yes. Item 4, consent docket. There are no items on today's consent docket. Item 5, reports from committees. Are there any committees that would like to make a report? Okay. Item 6, staff report. Randy, do you have a report you would like to make?
Let's see if here we go. When Steve Boyd of Oklahoma Contemporary contacted the office about new temporary art for Oklahoma Contemporary Art Center, we realized that the curatorial plan for Oklahoma Contemporary Art Center was out of date. But rather than delaying these projects that you're going to look at very briefly here, they will proceed under special event permits while the plan is updated. In the case of the sculptural installation you'll see in just a moment, Oklahoma Contemporary will get all the required building permits, the engineering, and so on. Later on, the updated plan will come to you for your consideration, and we'll take a more in-depth look at these two particular projects. The first is a mural installation on the shipping container showroom, which you see here. I realized today that we didn't have the name of an artist on this, and I was unable to make contact with Steve in order to get that name, but when we have the full presentation later on, when you're actually voting, we'll have all that information for you. Of course, this is just an information item for you today. And then this sculpture, which is under the working title of Beams, the sculptor is Jose Davila. So both of these will be covered under the updated curatorial plan for Oklahoma Contemporary when that becomes current. They'll be fully legal because of the special events permit in the meantime. Also, I want to remind you, because I needed to remind myself, when we have curatorial plans for projects in design districts, The design district planners have agreed that we don't have to come back, they don't have to get CAs for everything again, which this is a tremendous savings in time and effort for Plaza Walls, for Oklahoma Contemporary, and potentially for others. So as long as we have an active curatorial plan, everything is good with the design district. So that's another reason we want to get those curatorial plans taken care of. The next item, Arts and Cultural Affairs has been assisting in 3 projects at the Land Run Monument, none of which involve 1% for arts funds or specifically any other art funds. So first, Smith Art Conservation has been selected again to clean, repair, and report on the condition of the Land Run Monument. In 2018, they were selected, and they did really a nice job of doing the work that was requested of them, wrote a very thorough report. The recommendation actually is that that bronze be cleaned every other year at a minimum. And so it's been 4 years since the Land Run was last cleaned. And the city manager, in touring the site a few weeks ago, said, let's find a way to do this now. So funds will come out of either city manager's fund or from general funds in order to pay for it. So that's one of the projects that is all kind of happening right now. The other one is that the Indigenous Perspectives Project, the report from the Knowledge Keepers, Anita Fields and her son Yadika Fields, their report to the team, which I'll talk about in just a second, has been finalized, and it was just distributed to the team today. On the team is Commissioner Chambers. So he's been actively involved in this, and we'll have something to say about it later on. Later on, we will bring a report of that report that was presented to us. In the meantime, the team, which consists of the Spirit Group and also Jane Abraham from the city manager's office, they're going to make comments on it. Then I will be able to make my final report to Oklahoma Humanities, who provided the $5,000 grant for this particular project. The objective is to give a different perspective on the Land Run Monument, starting with some kind of marker. We don't know what that is. That part of that starts to be a recommendation in this report, and eventually we think will lead to a side-by-side monument telling the story of the Land Run from the Indigenous perspective, immediately adjacent to the story of the Land Run as told in bronze by sculptor Paul Moore. And that brings us to the third item that we've been working on. This is a facsimile of the bronze identification markers that are finally going to be installed at the Land Run Monument all these many years after Paul completed the work. I want to point out too, you see the glitches in the image. Those will obviously not be there. That's just an artifact of the digital file. We were assisted with this. Again, I worked with Melinda McMillan Miller and Jane Abraham on this. We got assistance from Chris Larwig, who is in the Parks Department and is really a fine graphic designer. And he took a really mundane idea that was floating around and turned it into this very strong graphic design. So two identical ones will be installed in different locations at the Land Run to ensure that everybody who visits the Land Run will be able to read about Paul Moore and the really heroic work that he did on this sculpture. Let me go back just a minute before we go to other items from commission and from public. I don't have slides on these two, but please put on your calendars Tuesday, October 11th at 8:30, when commissioners and others will converge on City Council for the annual Arts and Humanities Month proclamation by the mayor. We haven't been able to have a great big gathering for a few years. The last one, council chambers were totally packed out. The mayor made a comment that it was impressive to see so many creatives out so early in the day, which was not their natural habitat, which of course got a good laugh. So We want to show him again that there's twice as many that are willing to get out at whatever time of the day or night. Part of this is to show the economic impact of the creative class, of the arts and humanities class in Oklahoma City. A really, really tremendous economic impact that needs to be understood by the city. And so we encourage all of you to be here for that council, October 11th, 8:30. There'll be standing room outside for anybody that can't get into the meeting, and then immediately after, we'll gather on the front steps of City Hall for a picture that will be taken by Zach Nash in the Public Information Office. And one last item from staff, and that is to please remember Plaza Fest, the weekend of October 1st and 2nd at Plaza Walls. So try to go down there early. Try to go down there now, because most of the murals that you can see now will be totally gone. This is your last chance to see them. By October 1st, they'll be gone, and there will be an entirely new crop of murals gracing the Plaza Walls area. On Friday, September 30th, I'll be meeting with the mural class from Rose State. I do this twice a year with Suzanne Thomas, who's the teacher of the mural class at Rose State. And this year, Virginia Sites of Oklahoma Mural Syndicate and Plaza Walls has agreed to meet and to talk to the class. I think this is particularly appropriate. You've heard Virginia speak here, and she is dynamite. And I think she is particularly inspiring for the young women, but also the young men who may be in this class. That is the staff report.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, I did have a couple of things that I think maybe should have gone under the committee reports, artist advocate
Apologies
reports.
for
If
just
you don't
rushing through
mind,
that.
that's okay. I just zoomed down on my notes.
Well,
and-
we will make it an item from Commissioner.
Good. Item from commission will work fine. I just wanted to mention a couple of things. One is to congratulate First Americans Museum. Friday night, they celebrated a year of being open, and it was a full house. All tribes and many others were in attendance, along with Commissioner Kovash. It was really,
Volunteer of the Year, I think.
yeah,
I don't know
lovely.
if that's the actual title or not, but.
It was a really wonderful evening. Starting on Thursday, Oklahoma Contemporary is having an open house, and it will be Thursday through the weekend, recognizing their artists from Guadalajara. There are going to be art making opportunities, performances, various other things, and it is all free to the public, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Oklahoma City Museum of Art, just a couple of things. Friday, or on October 14th, they're having the opening of Kirasama, Behind the Frame. This is an acclaimed Iranian artist that is a filmmaker, photographer, and visual artist. It has been curated, the exhibit being curated by the museum, and this will be along with the son of the artist, and this is the first time this work will all be shown together, so it's a really big opportunity for us to see. Next Thursday, The Godfather film is turning 50, and the film will be shown again at the Oklahoma City Museum of Art, and associate producer Gray Fredrickson will be there to make some comments. The roof is open again now that the temperature has come down just a little bit. The roof is going to be open on Thursday nights, and so that will be combined with the showing of the film. And that is my report.
Thank you. Any other items from commission members? Yes, Commissioner Loftus?
Observation
Oh, okay.
with the passing of Commissioner Seward. I would guess that Commissioner Hill would be the oldest member of this commission. Is that correct?
I'm not going to make a comment on that. Commissioners do not have to disclose their birthday as public record. So, Commissioner Kovash.
My birthday's on Thursday.
Oh, except for Commissioner Kovash. Seeing no other items from commission members, are there any items from the public? Seeing no members of the public here to speak. I would remind you that we have a meeting on October 17th And I will see you here at 4 p.m. at Council Chambers, and we are adjourning. Thank you.